Right, hello, let's do the mid-August garden tour. So, coming out the side entrance to my house, I've got a series of pots of just date palms and trepicarpus in various stages, plus a few stragglers of the pumpkins. So they're against the side of the house, so it keeps heats up during the day and keeps the heat, so that keeps everything a bit warmer during the night. Right, so anyway, we're going to do this tour. I don't know how long it's going to take. We'll have a look at the food plants and the garden in general. Obviously I can't stop at every single plant, so we'll do a general look across and see what's going on. Right, so it is 16th of August 2021. My side raised trough is doing quite well. So we've got ivies, fatsia in the middle, some red hot pokers and ferns. It's all starting to mature quite nicely. So bamboo in a raised trough there, and again this size is bamboo which will start to take off this year, so it gives us a bit of protection in the conservatory from the sun. Right, so let's actually enter the back garden. Right, so we've still got the collection of 1-2-year-old trepicarpus. I think they're cross Fortunae Wagneranus. All putting on new growth. Recently repotted. Should do okay. Acacia sumo in pot on edge of the pond. Looking good. We've also got the Alocasia patora there with the crinkly leaves and mottled stem. Right, so I'll go a quick look round. So at the front of the pond here also we've got some dwarf Cavendish bananas. Got a brugmansia here which I left out all winter, and that's sort of pretty much died back to the base, but it has come back, and we've even got some flower buds starting to come. That is a plain white one. Rhubarb's gone over now. So anyone who hasn't watched any of my other videos, I keep pots all along the edge of the pond to stop the heron landing and getting the fish. So the carnivorous plant is looking good. So we've got a couple of Sarracenia there, a short purpurea and the larger hybrid. And we've got a sundew there, full of little flies, if you can see. We've got a sort of random mix of various plants. Obviously can't go through them all. Some of them are obvious, like the small yuccas in pots, very sharp. Herons don't like that. Cactus. This is all from one cactus that died over winter and the pads fell off, so I potted up the pads and they've all grown and put loads of new growth on, so they're doing well. So there's just an overview of some plants. Another carnivorous plant there. We've got the famous Venus flytrap, doing well. Put out some big traps. They're well over inch and a half. Another sundew and a very small Sarracenia there. I don't know what's going on with that one. Obviously cycad revoluta there, or sago palm. So that's the pond area. Let's go back and look at the front of the conservatory. So we've got a collection of pots. Obviously we've got the ferns in the raised pots. Open at the bottom there, they're doing well. They've been basically pushing out new growth all summer. Still got some on curling there. Got the old cheese plant, he's doing well, enjoying the outdoor summer holiday. Got a little acer there, variegated leaves, and we've got the Rhaphis excelsior lady palm, which I bought earlier this year. Repotted it up, pumped out loads of new fronds, it's looking good. And so we've sort of got it mirrored this side, so we've got obviously another tree fern there. Again, at the base of the tree ferns we've got hostas and some small ferns, which, you know, looks good, sort of good effect, mirrored each side of the door. And at the back of again we've got another variegated acer. These were just from Morrison's, £3. Real cheap, but repotted up, put loads of new growth on. So they're quite nice. We've got the Livingstoner chinensis. Again, bought that earlier this year, maybe a month and a half ago. There's 4 plants in there. They've all put out new fronds since having them. They're looking good. That's in it's obviously fairly shady spot here. Gets sort of sun maybe late afternoon, evening. And we've got the Kentia palm here. Again, there's several palms. This is a Morrison's one. They, you know, get them in occasionally at 30 quid, which is a bargain. And there's a good, let's go around this side. A good 7 plants in there. I wasn't going to separate them, I'll leave them as is. But yeah, all pushing out new fronds. Looking good. This is in the pot, you know, well over 6 foot now. Not bad. Right, so looking over to this side, also you've got the greenhouses. I won't go into them at the moment. Just a selection of edibles at the fronts and a couple of palms, Camerops humilis and queen palm, which have been struggling this year because it's been such a cool summer. Again, that's mirrored this side with the queen palm and Camerops humilis. Looks like various small palms. These are all the ones I've grown from seed again. These are Washingtonia filibuster cross. And also some edible date palms in there. I've got a couple these Magnolia grandiflora in pots at the moment because I'm waiting for everything to die down, and I'm going to put them in the back of the borders before winter comes, so I could do that in the autumn once I start clearing stuff. So we've got the arid bed and border. So obviously we've got a selection of arid plants in there. Yucca purpurea, Yucca tropicanas. We've got the variegated and the standard green, which were only put in last year and they've easily doubled in size. They're already getting probably bigger than I'd like, because I think this green one is going to start taking over the Brahea armata soon. So it may be a case of moving that spring next year. And it's got several pups around it, and just leave a couple of pups in there. Obviously there's some other succulents and various cacti in there. But the border in front is grown so well this year, sort of covering most of the arid bed. But still looks good. You know, plenty of dahlias and various plants there. Canis tropicana, always looking good. Another Camops humus in a pot there. That is in that pot all winter, left out absolutely fine, no problem. Obviously, plants in pots are not as hardy as plants in the ground, but didn't take any damage, even after the winter we just had. So we've got golden bamboo in a pot at the back there, a really large pot, and we've got some cordyline. I think it's electric mint, brown leaf in yellow and green variegation in it. That's quite nice. So we've got a Camadoria microcarpa flamethrower palm. A little bit of sunburnt on some of the leaves, but not looking too bad. It's pushing out a new spear. So this is a area work in progress, new seating area on. Got rid of the hot tub and looking to slab this. Now there's a nice seating area. But we've got the triangle palm here, which again got some pretty bad sunburn on it, but just pushed out, opened out a new frond. So that's looking quite nice. Tetrasperma elegans, the double. Again, slight bit of sunburnt on that, but pushing out new fronds, so still growing. We've got the bamboo in a raised trough at the back there, plus some Arandodanics. Got the zebra grass there. And it's funny because when you got some such dense plant, you sometimes forget about plants. It weren't till I came in this area and I remembered that I've got a Trapicarpus nova. I bought that last year and it had about, I'd say maybe 6 inches of trunk, and now it's nearly got a good 10 inches. And it's pushed out loads of nice fronds, so they are definitely the fastest growing Trapicarpus you can get. They're not always easy to get hold of. Right, let's come out of this area. So we've got foxtail palm here. I have started putting labels in some of these. Woodietta bifurcata. Again, got some bad sunburn on this. Have to be more careful acclimating these to the sun, but it is starting to push out a new frond. Got a little Braheo martyr here. So this actually stayed out all winter. Bit of a test. So this is the spear that was starting to push during winter, obviously rotted off. But then we've got a new one now open and another little spear coming. And this side we've got perennial hibiscus. So I've kept this tag in here because that just reminds me of how big the flowers get. So that is the size of the flowers. They do get a good size, and we have got some buds coming, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Little Christmas palm, looking a bit yellow. I have to give that a bit more fertiliser. So this side of the pond, at the back we've got the gunnerer, which a couple of leaves are looking a bit dry. We did have a good amount of rain last week, but it's been quite warm and dry for the last 5 or 6 days. I don't really water it as much. Well, I don't water at all, so I should really water that more. I've got some Arandodanics variegata in a pot there. wall sunflowers. And then we've got the bottle palm, which I did do a video on this a little while back. And it has fully opened the frond that had stuck over winter, so that's fully open now, and that's pushing out a nice new frond there. And the base, I've noticed, is definitely getting a lot thicker, so that is starting to bottle out, if you like, giving it the name bottle palm. So obviously we've got the little wildlife pond there, various plants around, little croton there getting a summer holiday, small Camelops humilis, some more cannas, obviously musifolia, that's quite a small one, a little Tropicana gold, all quite stunted because this was overgrown with other stuff early on in the year, which is sort of gone over now, so I've cut back and just letting the other stuff grow through. Little hart's tongue fern there, rather sickly cordyline can, which was a little bit wobbly when I put it in. I should have put it in a bit deeper, but I have got a stake in there supporting it. That is actually kicked out the side growth on it as well, so we'll see on that one, see how that does. Small 2.5 foot tree fern. This has been pushing out new growth all summer as well. Still opening up fronds. Quite a dense head on that. Underneath we've got small caladium there. Got Brunera variegata there. And we've got some pedicets. See quite nice light spots on that. Really nice hooker there. Sort of dark purple with pink spots. Another Brunera, I think that's silver heart. Umbrella plant there. We've got here hosta, summon substance. Looked quite good early on in the season, obviously sort of getting towards late summer they obviously got a bit of slug damage and not looking quite so good, but still, you know, good sized leaves on it nonetheless. Quite big. We've got the voodoo lily with several babies coming up around it. The plum tree's done well this year. So we've sort of grown this against the fence, and sort of keeping it tight against the fence, and you can see it's absolutely full of fruits, which are just about ready to come off. And the same with these small apple trees, even though they are very small. Got some good sized apples coming on them. Let's get back to the more tropical stuff. So we've got the Alocasia wettii with a dark underleaf and a little baby snail on it. Another Kentia palm there, pushing out some new growth. Obviously a very selection of hostas and kind of ground cover plants. Worth having a look at the Fatsia spider web, because this one was really sort of nice variegation on it, but all the new growth is more green, not much at all of the spider web variegation. Got some white outer leaves, but outer rim to the leaves. And we've got another Fatsia here. This is a sort of variegated one. Again, sort of just on the extremes of the edges of the leaves, a bit of variegation on it, but yeah, it does vary every flush will be different. So, I mean, the stems themselves are sort of quite heavily variegated, but we'll see on that one. Cord lining divisor. You know, it did take a beating over winter, but that has pushed out new growth. You still see there's a new leaf there and a new spear coming out. Got selenium growing from seed this year. Decent sized leaves on that. It's not the type I thought it was. I thought it was going to have the spikes on the leaves, but this one seems like a spineless one. But nonetheless, quite a nice plant, a bit different. So the variegated pedicets are not done well this year with the early insect damage. I say insect, the slugs and snails. It took a lot of the leaves off. So yeah, they're not done well at all. Another croton having a summer holiday in the border. So just the odd splash of colour with the bedding plants. Just to break up the greenery a bit. We've got another houseplant taking a holiday, Dracaena. That does quite well outside, apart from the slug damage again. But yeah, it's put on quite a lot of new growth, that one. Little red acer. Standard fatsia. Looking quite good. Little Trapecarpus there. Sold to me as a Fortunae, but I don't know. Petioles seem a lot thicker than Fortunae, so we'll keep an eye on that one. I still hope that's a Latisectus. Another caladium. Starting to get a flower on that. So that's quite a nice one. The leaves aren't huge, but very pretty nonetheless. We've got Oranga angli, which is the sugar palm or dwarf sugar palm. So that's getting ready to open up a new spear there. We've got a big begonia at the back there. Quite big leaves on that, as you can see. Really nice underside to that. So I'm hoping that's gonna, well, it's now starting to get some flower spikes on it. So we'll see how that one does. I've got a palm in a pot here. This one is, I think that's a king palm. Grown from seed a couple of years back. Yet another plant having a summer holiday. That's Imperial Red Philodendron. We've got another selenium there. Good sized leaves on it. We've got a nice camouflage fatsia there. Really good colour on that. Really nice leaves actually. Quite a good size as well. Acuba japonica. That's started kicking in, looking really good now. A very small tree fern at the back there. Again, these pedicets probably getting a bit too much sun here, so that, you know, we've had a bit of crisping. I think this is a lot. The leaves do get old and crisp off a bit. They have been putting out new growth underneath, so I have been cutting them back, really bad ones. But yeah, you can see that's actually creeped all the way over here. So again, we've got some little coleus. What else have we got underneath here? Got another Camops humilis, hid up by the tetrapanax. That's done quite well this year. That's quite a small plant last year, and that's really opened up and Got some reasonably decent sized leaves on it. So we've got some hydrangeas at the back there. Canna in flower there, that's maybe 6 foot. Flower spike on that. Small Jack's Giant. Not overly impressive. That was a very small plant when I put it in though. Cordline Superstar. Done really well. Really wide leaves on that. Really nice and glossy. Another Trepicarpus there. Fortunae, I believe, but it's quite a silvery underback to it. And the fronds are reasonably stiff on that as well, so hopefully that will hold up to the winds we get when it gets a bit bigger. A Polycarpa. All fatty green fingers starting to put on some growth as well. A little waggy at the front here. That's putting on some good growth this year. We've got 2 good fronds opened up, really stiff, and we've got a third now coming out. Obviously they're a lot slower than the standard Fortunae. Another Camops Humulus getting shaded out by some cannas and the tomato tree, which is just opening a flower there. We've got some more flowers come up the top there. Oh yeah, and then another one at the back there, so we'll see. It might be too late to get any fruit on it this year, but we'll keep an eye on it, keep you updated. Right, so we've got some Arandodanax variegata in pot again, next to a small gunner. That's a division early this year, so I didn't expect it to get very big, just to fill a gap. I did plant a Fatsia, variegated Fatsia in here, so when that gets a bit bigger that should come up and give you some interest at the back there. And also we've got like a wall of fuchsias all along the back here, and a fairly big Acer, and some more bamboo in a pot there. And we've got the red bananas either side of the decking area leading to the summer house, and some various pot plants there, dahlias and whatnot. But the red bananas are definitely the biggest we ever got this year, even though we've not had a particularly good summer. But yeah, we've got some really big large leaves on these, massive. I mean, obviously it helps with the impact when you've got them in a raised pot. I mean, these pots are a good 2.5 foot tall. Right, so let's just have a look back at the border in general. So that's the border we've just done from the little wildlife pond. So obviously next year I'm hoping that the fatches and some other plants are going to start covering the fence a bit more. Right, so let's pan over to the big old clump of bamboo here. Some of that is a good 12-15 foot at an estimate. And we've got quite a large Tetrapanax here, getting some height on it now. That's well over 7 foot now. I did cut a lot of the lower leaves off, which were the biggest leaves, because they were totally covering the little cactus bed I've got here. But cactus has all done well considering they've been in shade most of the summer. Various agaves and cacti in pots here. Got that little Fats Hedera there, which is a cross between Fatsia and ivy, which has got some nice variegation on there. We have got a eucalyptus tree there, gunny eye, which I cut right back because it had shut up and got to about 20 foot in about 2 years, so I cut it right back, and hopefully that's going to push out a bit more. Right, looking in here, we've got the hidden Trappicarpus, and surprisingly that's put on nearly a foot of trunk this year. That's done really well. You see the fronds are starting to get quite high there, but obviously sort of hidden behind the big Phoenix canariensis, which again has put on some good height. This is a 6 foot fence, so I don't know, good 8 foot plus, maybe 9 foot, that tallest frond at the back. But that's put on some real girth on the trunk as well. That's a good 15 inches wide, I'd say. Little Camrops humilis underneath here, in shade most of the day, but that's not a bad thing, because that's really got some nice big fronds on it. So I know they're supposed to be in full sun, but they do look nice, you know, deep green and bigger fronds in the shade. Got a standard red star there, cordyline. Another houseplant taking a holiday is a fiddle leaf fig underneath there. We've got some dwarf cannas there starting to come into flower. Quite nice flowers on them there, literally about 1.5 foot tall. Some sort of begonia there with the dark underleaf, quite nice. And we've got this umbrella plant here, which is an indoor one, Schefflera. I don't know what type, what it's sold as an indoor plant, but I'll be leaving it outside and seeing how that does over winter, hopefully with the protection of the canariensis over the top. But may pull through, may not, but I'm not going to dig it up. Right, so we've got the little Shabumpkin pond here, obviously covered up so the herons can't get the little fish, full of lily pads and a few flowers on them. But yeah, the bog filter for that has done pretty good this year. So we've got Musifolia, Tropicana Black in flower. Some are starting to go over a bit. A whole new spike there. And the leaves do get pretty big on these, massive leaves and decent height. Obviously they've done just as well as the Musifolia. And then we've got some rather large elephant ears in here. Let's see, this is going to be the biggest of the